Erika's POV. I stood speechless and vibrating with anger over what Elder Grigshade had said to me. I held back tears, standing still as a statue. What was the meaning of the words he'd just told me? Why would he tell me things like that? What gave him the right to speak to me in that manner? I collapsed on the chair I had been seating, trying to ignore the pounding in my head. Tears fell despite my desire to control them from streaming. What was happening? I was so tired and weak. Everything was beginning to get crazy. A lot of things were getting too confusing for me. I was no longer sure of myself, of my ability to rule. Whatever Elder Grigshade was doing, it was working. And even though I wanted to fight it, I did not feel the zeal to. Jace was gone. Dad was sick. Soon Paula would go back to her pack and mate. I doubted if Kat would want to stay if she knew Jace had gone. The coronation was to be fixed in 2 days' time. The day I would become the alpha of this pack, yet I was not feeling ready in any way. I sighed. I had no idea what was going to happen. Why would Elder Grigshade threaten me that way? The man was not even scared of my position. He did not have any respect for what I was. I stood and went out of the meeting room. I walked towards my father's room. My steps faltered as soon as I got to the entrance of his room. Father's room was the biggest amongst us 3. I watched me. His breathing was quiet. Too quiet for my comfort. Except for the heart monitor that was beeping steady. I would have thought he was dead. Dead. 90-10 chance. Till we meet again. Your enemy. My body trembled badly. I pushed myself forward to grab my father's still hand. Tears poured like rain. It was so heavy I could barely see his face. His frame was blurry. I blinked severally to clear my vision to see him better. He was lying so still that if not for the moving lines showing on the monitor's screen lines that represented the rhythmic beating of his heart, one would mistake him to be dead. He was not looking as fit as he used to be. Father was appearing to be frail and weak, a deterioration of his health, and it shook me to my bones how slim his chances were of surviving. Dad, I'm alone, I said at last. My heart was so heavy. As though I was waiting for a miracle, I paused to watch him. Maybe he would talk. He would say something comforting to me. But the words did not come. He laid there, no sign of words coming out. I slapped away disappointment. What had I been expecting? For him to jump and tell me he was fine, that Jace would be back, that he had not left for good, that I would be fine and be able to handle all of this on my own. Dad, wake up. Jace has gone. You have to wake up. Please, Dad, I am so tired. Elder Grigshade, I choked on my sob, finding it hard to let out the rest of the words. You did not tell me about him, Dad. You did not tell me you had a business with him. Why, Daddy? Why? W-Y? I hiccuped as more tears fell. I bawled my eyes out. My shoulders racked violently. The pounding in my head grew worse. What was I to do? What exactly? You told Jace of the business, but not me. Why? I sniffled. I was holding his hand sometime later after the tears had dried up, though I still felt gloomy and sad. I had accused Jace, though it had been unintentional and indirect, still. I was not supposed to do that, but I did, and now I have lost him. The room was silent. Except for the heart monitor, nothing else was heard. Should I blame you for not telling me? For leaving me in the dark, which had led me to nurse the idea that Jace might be an enemy? Or should I blame myself for being inconsiderate and insensitive? Or should I blame Jace for following in your steps and keeping as a secret too? Or should I blame Elder Grigshade for being an asshole that is beginning to scare me? I licked my lips dry, holding his hand as some form of comfort and reassurance. What do I do, Dad? Maybe I should find Jace and let him take over the throne. Maybe you chose the wrong person, Dad. Maybe Elder Grigshade is right. I bit my lower lip hard to prevent more tears from falling. A hand on my shoulder startled me. I raised my head to see Paula. I sighed in relief, but emotion swamped me as soon as relief filled me. Her hand on my shoulder caused more sobs to erupt. "It's okay, Rika. You will get out of this. You're strong, resilient, powerful. You're an alpha." Her tone were so encouraging and soul-lifting, but I was too scared to believe them. Too uncertain to allow myself believe them or her. What if I'm just deceiving myself? What if Jace I'd truly supposed to be there? What if— Shh. She shushed me gently. In that moment, she sounded like an affectionate mother. No more what ifs, Rika. You're one of the most persistent person I know. If you can live with Alex who didn't see your value for 3 years, what about protecting your legacy? Your father saw Jace before he picked you. You are worthy of that throne, of that position, of that honor, of that respect. You're worthy to be called an alpha. Your dad did not make a mistake. He's a wise man who makes wise decisions. Her words both encouraging and soothing. So you heard me, it was more of a statement than a question. Yes, I've been standing here for some time, watching you question your capability. She smiled soothingly at me. Where's Kat? I peered at the doorway, half thinking she would materialize from the corner. She's asleep. Just took her drugs. She was worried too, but I had to make her sleep because the drugs were already making her drowsy. I wish I could take some of those pills. I mumbled to myself, but it seemed Paula had heard me because she was frowning. What do you mean by that? She eyed me. I kept mute. Jace's POV. How could she not trust me? Why would she do what she had done to me? Accuse me, asking me if I was her enemy. I hit my hand on the steering wheel of the car I was driving. My temples were pounding badly. When had we become this kind of siblings that had no trust for each other? What happened to being siblings who would love each for eternity and have one another's back? I had tried my best to reason with her, to make sure we were no longer at odds. I know it had been hard telling her I had to leave her, but it had been for this same reason. Elder Grigshade had told me about this. He had tried to persuade me to take over the throne from me, sister, but I had declined. How would I go against my sister fighting for what was clearly her right? Moreover, I was not the kind of guy who wanted power and authority, and whatever it was that came from being an alpha. I would never do that. I would never hurt her that way, but she had hurt me. She had believed I was her enemy, had all but accused me of being her enemy, of trying to gang up with Elder Grigshade to take over her birthright. That had hurt me. I had been so hurt that I could not even withhold my disappointment and anger. She just had to do that to me. She just had to. When I had gotten into my room, I had thought about it, and knew I could not delay my leaving anymore. This was the reason I wanted to leave in the first place, because I had heard the rumors and know that if I remained, it would cause more trouble for her. My presence would continue to make her taking over from father quite difficult. But I had delayed when I had seen how much it was hurting her. I had dilly-dallied when I had noticed Kat would be hurt too. I was delaying because it was difficult for me too. Imagine leaving the place I'd already known as my home all my life to somewhere new. It was an idea I never believed I would ever conceive. But as it stood, delaying would not cut it anymore. Which was why I was currently on my way out of that place. My place. Fagel. There had been no time to meet Fagel, but I would still come around just to see him. It would be at night. I would quietly enter the pack, go straight to the hospital to check up on him, and find out whatever he might had found. If only he would survive that much knife wounds. I had the doctor's number. We were going to be in contact with him. I had told the doctor not to let Erika know. I would still help her find the truth, even if it was the last thing I did for her. As my car winded down the road, I tried to swallow my hurt and kick back the urge to growl in frustration. I was getting away, but the memories were following. Her hurtful words still held on to me. I hoped she would see my letter. She would go to my library and see my letter. Then the evidence. Dad had given me the company and had asked me not to tell her. It had been difficult keeping the secret from her, but I had believed Dad has his reasons. More so, Elder Grigshade did not like my sister and did not want her to rule. I thought that was another not tell her about it. Both of them could never do business together. My phone rang. I checked the caller ID. Hello, doctor. He's awake. He's regained consciousness. The doctor's voice sounded over the loudspeaker. He is? The relief and gratitude was conspicuous in my tone. Yes, he's a fighter. He is awake, though he's weak and cannot really engage in any long conversation for now. He informed. I understand, doctor. I nodded my understanding, even though he was not there with me. When will you come to see him? He inquired. Is he still in the VIP section? I wanted to know. Yes, of course. That is the only way people will not know of his presence. The doctor replied. Okay, doctor. I'm currently not in Pack, but please, I'll send you some money to help me keep him safe. Do not let my sister know he's there, and also tell Fagel not to leave the hospital just yet. I left the major road to travel the bushy paths. The less people saw of this car, the better. I wanted no information given to Erika if she tried to send anyone to find me. Is everything okay? I could hear the curiosity in the doctor's voice. Yes. Are you sure, Your Highness? Concern was in there too. It made me smile a little. I'd always known Doctor ever since I was a little pup. I would always go there with Erika to play doctor and nurse respectively. That was when we were not playing alpha and maid with Dad by the river. I used to dream of being a doctor. Erika had proclaimed she would want to be a nurse. Well, no doctor, no nurse. Rather, a soon-to-be alpha who did not trust her businessman of a brother when he said he was not interested in becoming an alpha. Everything will be okay, doctor. Please don't just let anyone know I had reached out to you. You have my word, Your Highness. He promised. All right, Doc. I would send you something for Fagel, and for you too. You have truly helped me a lot. Thank you for your kind gesture, Your Highness. It's no problem. I'm only doing my job. All right, Doctor. I'll reach out later. Okay, Your Highness. I hung up the line. I was going to lodge in an hotel far from here. When the heat had settled, I was going. The sound of my tire deflating had me confused. Then the second. The third. The rush of panic. What the... I quickly dodged when I heard the sound of bullets flying through all windows of my car. I was being shot at, and I was outnumbered. They were shooting from every corner of the vehicle. Suddenly, everywhere went quiet. Blood trickled down along my arm. A bullet had grazed my skin. Erika's POV. The doctor walked into the room. Good day, Your Highness. My lady. He bowed in greeting to me and Paula. Good day, Doctor. Paula and I chorused our replies. Are you doing well, Your Highness? The man looked at me, concern lacing his middle-aged features. Yes, Doc. I nodded. He looked at Paula, who merely shrugged, then pointed at Dad. How is he doing, Doctor? Any improvement yet? Not yet, I'm afraid. He wore a mask of uncertainty and sympathy. I nodded, battling with the painful constriction of my heart. Not yet, I repeated, as though trying to say it would make me understand what he meant. I'm sorry. The doctor's soothing voice drew me to tears, but I held it in. I should never show weakness in public. If I must be overwhelmed with emotions, it should be with my close ones, in the privacy of my room. If I was going to take over from Dad, I should be willing to be strong and act emotionless. Even though all I felt like doing at that moment was cry, I should be able to rein them in and put on a stoic mask. To play the untouchable and brave alpha queen that was expected of me. I stood from the seat. I'll leave you to do your duties, Doctor. Please, let me know if anything arises. I definitely will, Your Highness. He bowed as I walked to the door. Good day, Doctor. Paula bade him as we left Dad's room. My lady. He bowed. Paula and I walked the hallway in silence. I swallowed, trying to dislodge the boulder that had lodged itself in my throat. She held my hand and squeezed in comfort. It's okay, Rika. You'll be fine. I turned to her. Will I? She nodded with confidence. Yes, Rika. I know you will be. Anyone who can survive 3 years in that hell of a marriage can survive anything. Like I had said earlier, your father is a wise man who makes wise decisions. He did not make a mistake giving you what belongs to you. You have a lot of confidence and faith in me than I do for myself at the moment. I sniffled. I'm not saying this because you're my best friend. I'm also saying this because it is true. I stared at her face for a while, then averted my gaze, focusing on the long hallway before me. Did you hear what I said about Jace? Jace will be back. I think he's hurt in the moment and trying to run off steam. When he comes to, you'll settle whatever differences you both have with each other. She assured. I don't think so. Tears filled my vision. Jace will. Cutting her off, I pulled her towards the other hallway that led to his own room. We climbed the stairs and went into his room. Look around you, Paula. Does this look like a place the owner wants to return to? I was almost screaming in frustration and pain. She was dumbfounded, not believing what she was seeing. Jace is not coming back? I took the letter from my back pocket and gave to him. She took it and read. Wow. This is but what evidence is he talking about? The business with Elder Grigshade that caused the fight between us. I collapsed into a sofa, cradling both sides of my throbbing temples. So have you seen the evidence? She joined me on the sofa, the letter still in her possession. Yes, I nodded. Turns out Dad had started the business with Grigshade years back. Even when Jace and I were still young pups, they had been doing business together. Now that we're adults, Dad passed the company to Jace. I know Jace is the business guru in the family, but why had they not told me? Why did they keep it from me? I do not have the answers you want right now, and neither do you, but we should not be in a haste to write things off. Soon, we will understand. You will understand. But first things first, let's concentrate on giving you the best coronation ever. Even Grigshade will not be able to stand a chance. She winked. I chuckled. I guess so. My face fell seconds later. I had always thought Jace and Dad would stand beside me, holding my hands for support. Hey, I can always be Dad and Kat will be Jace. He's her mate after all. It's only right she assumes that position. We both will be there to hold you. She squeezed my hands tighter. Feeling grateful, I hugged her tight. Thank you, P. You're the best friend everyone needs in their life. What about me? Paula and I turned towards the doorway. There was Kat, and she was out of her wheelchair. You're better now? You can walk now? I could not keep the excitement out of my voice. The fight and sinking of fangs had affected a nerve that had temporarily disrupted her ability to walk properly. Yes. She grinned. Come here for the group hug. Paula invited her. She entered. She was barefooted. She paused, taking note of the room. Is this not Jace's room? I swallowed. He will be back, Kat. He just needs some time to run off steam after their fight. How come you're awake in such short a time? Paula was trying to take her mind off of the room and Jace's possibly permanent absence. When did he leave? She asked. I studied her face. She was holding back tears, trying not to break down. I don't know. I had no idea too. I just came in to talk to him, as you guys had advised. I saw the room like this. So he left? Her smile was watery with her lips trembling. Without another word, Paula and I went to hug her. This was the first time I would see Kat cry before either of us, even as her best friend for years. She never fell apart on me. Not even once. She preferred to cry alone, then come out with renewed hope. But what could I say? Mate bond could make any werewolf act unusually them. Jace's POV. Who were these people? How had they known where to find me? It would seem they had been lying in wait for me. This was an ambush. They were not here to steal from me. If they wanted to, they would not have bothered shooting at me this way. Their plan was to kill me. But who could have sent them? Was it the same people who wanted to kill Erika? But even at that, how had they known exactly where and how to get me? No one would have guessed it right. I had told no one, not even the doctor knew. I checked my arm. It was bleeding. The wound was not deep, just the surface. But it was hurting me nonetheless. I remembered I had a tissue somewhere. I opened one of my small bags at the back of the seat. I wiped the surface of the wound with the tissues I had finally found. I had a first aid kit inside one of my bags, but there was no time to check which it was in right at that moment. There was no way to move this car, and I could not escape from here with all my bags. I was suddenly regretting why I had not remained on the major road. I just had to take a detour. But who would blame me? I was trying to avoid being seen. I sighed. That was useless. I was seen already. They had come for my life. Maybe they were gone. They probably thought I was dead. But I was too far into this lonely path to just turn back. It was going to be a long walk by foot. The windows of my car were half shattered by bullets. I was still at risk. I peeped through the front window. Everywhere was lonely. Not a soul walked the path. I thought of calling Erika to send one of the guards to bring me another car and possibly an escort. But I thought against the idea. I was not going to let them know. My phone rang. I quickly put it on silent before anyone would hear it ring. They might know I was not dead, and if they tried to shoot again, they would surely get me this time. The phone stopped ringing, then started seconds later again. I looked at the caller ID. Erika. I busied it. It rang again. Cat. I could not bring myself to busy hers, so I left it to keep buzzing. By the time my phone had finally stopped buzzing, I had like 11 missed calls. 4 from Erika. 5 from Kat. 2 from Paula. I did not pick any of them. Trying to think of my next plan, how to escape this place, I laid my head against the back of my seat. I closed my eyes. They flew open minutes later when I began to perceive something. My chest constricted. My throat began to itch me. I started to cough. Gas wafted into the car. A choking gas. Someone was here. Maybe those people. They were still. Unable to endure it anymore, I unlocked my car door and staggered out. A brutal kick had me sprawled on the ground. I shook my head to clear it. I turned to see who was behind the attack, a masked face. They were clothed fully. I staggered to my feet. Another kick to my rib had me greeting the ground again. It felt as though wind was knocked out of my lungs. I stifled a grunt. I swiftly rolled out of the way when the feet was about to stomp on me. I rolled a bit far to give myself to get to my feet. I was not going to give in like that. My wolf wanted to transmute, but I was reining it in. This person had not changed. I would not change too. They came with another kick. I dodged and landed a jab on their masked face. They staggered back from the force of it. Not wasting any more time, I rushed forward, stretched my left leg, and kicked them brutally on the chest. Their back reached the ground. I climbed atop them and began dishing out blows aggressively. I was about to open their mask when I was lassoed and dragged. I could not breathe properly. I pulled at the rope, but whoever that had lassoed me was determined and quite strong. But I made sure not to relent. I kept pulling at the rope. I was almost succeeding when someone kicked me hard from back. It was the other person I had almost seen their face. They were 2 of them. They kept kicking, punching, and pulling me with the strong rope. I was getting weaker. Who were these people? They were definitely in the same group with that guy that had been sent to kill Erika too. Boss said we should bring him to her alive, one said. Their boss was a woman? Who was she, and what did she want with me and my family? Was she the one who had poisoned my father? I thought the assignment was to torture him and then kill him, another said. All right, let's take him there. I managed to get up even with the rope still around my neck. They noticed me, but before they could act, I had freed myself from the lasso, caught the closer one to me, and pulled tight. The second one rushed at me with a punch to my ribs that was already hurting. I groaned in pain but stubbornly held on to the lasso, still pulling tighter. The second one tried to get out of the lasso, but I kept pulling even though the second one was attacking with his fists and trying to get me to let go of the rope. You fucking bastard. Let go. The one I'd lassoed screamed. I was not going to let him go. I pulled tighter. The other one sliced my hand with a knife. I grunted. Blood gushed from the back of my palm. A new force from behind joined in and kicked my legs, forcing my knees to the ground. What's keeping you guys? The boss is waiting? This third person asked. I grip on the lasso, though still tight, was not as gripping. The three of them collectively threw vicious hits at me. I tried to fight, but a sudden big blow to my head and I slipped into unconsciousness. Erika's POV. It's okay, Rika. Paula wiped my tears for the umpteenth time. It was my coronation day, and not even my brother or dad was available to stand by me. I appreciated Kat and Paula for being here. I truly did, but even they understood my reason for crying. I wanted one person from my family, or even two of them if possible. I wanted my brother and father, but I could not get either of them today, of all days. Jace and I used to talk about how we would stand together on the day I would be publicly announced as the Alpha of Ironclaw. But today it was just my friends. My friends. I wanted to cry myself to oblivion. Paula kept wiping every tear that dropped. Kat, on the other hand, was trying to be fine, but I also knew that she was pained. He's not picking up his phone, I said, still worrying. Why is he not picking up his phone? Is he still angry with me? No, don't answer that. I know he's still angry with me. Tears fell as an audible, sad sigh left my lips. It's okay, both of you. Paula was comforting Kat and I. I turned to see that tears had dropped from Kat's eyes. She was missing him and also worried about him. I turned my back to the vanity mirror and allowed Paula keep working on her magic. I'm sorry. I apologized to her. My tears kept ruining the makeup she was doing for me. It's okay. I know how you feel. It's not your fault. She patted my cheek gently and comfortingly. The room went silent as she dutifully applied makeup on me. My thoughts ran wild. I could not go but think of what Elder Grigshade had said to me the last time he was here. It had sounded like a threat, and this morning, I've had to alert most of the guards to keep their eyes sharp and their ears to the ground. I wanted nothing to go wrong, except for the fact that none of my family member would be there. Nothing else should be wrong. There, I'm done. Simple yet classic, just as Her Royal Highness wants it. I heard the smile in her voice. I knew what she was trying to do. She was cheering me up, and to oblige her, I smiled. Thank you, P. You're welcome, Your Highness. She did a courtesy bow. I chuckled, shaking my head. I turned to Kat. Hey, Kat. She turned to me. I stood to pose for her. How do I look? She also got the point of what I was doing. Her Royal Highness looks every bit of the royalty she is. My newest alpha. She too stood and did a bow. The three of us looked at each other and closed the gap to hug ourselves. We will all be fine, Kat encouraged. Yes, we will. Paula agreed enthusiastically. We have no choice then to be. My voice trembled a bit. It was low. We released ourselves. Kat sat and allowed Paula make her up too. I wonder who I'm looking gorgeous for. she whined. Paula playfully hit her with one of the brushes. Me and Rika. She chuckled. Fair enough. When Paula was done with Kat, she attended to herself, and soon she was done. A knock was heard on the door as we were finishing up. Come in, I invited. Your Highness, everyone is waiting for you. It was Melissa. Let them wait. The Alpha is worth waiting for. Paula replied. Okay, my lady. Melissa bowed and left. Let's go. I proceeded to the door in my ball gown. The ceremony was taking place in the ballroom, and every resident of Ironclaw is mandated to be there. I had also instructed some of the guards to station themselves at my father's door and my door. I did not want to take chances and allow some strangers into my room, ransacking and finding the document Jace had left for me. I was particularly suspicious of Elder Grigshade. He might want to play some very funny game. Also, I had to be watchful and careful of what I ate or drank. Girls, we have to be careful of what we eat or drink here. Enough though every food and drink was made here in this pack, we cannot guarantee that they will be totally harmless to us. Who knows what today might bring? We have to be prepared. I whispered the warning, making sure even the guards that were escorting us to the ballroom could not hear us. I do not need to be told. Beneath my gown is a penknife. Easy to throw, quick to slash. Kat revealed. I quirked a surprised brow. When did you get that in there? We've all got to survive, Rika. After my last attack experience, I do not want to be caught off guard ever again, she replied. Now that's some smart move, Paula commended. I have my fist, and that should be enough. I heard the slow music wafting from the ballroom. I paused. Are we ready? I looked at both my friends. Ready as I'll ever be, was Paula's response. I guess I am. Kat was putting on a don't mess with me look. The three of us already knew how this day might play out. It was a dangerous time. We needed to be careful. We had all survived one attack or the other, and we were more careful and alert for it. I had no idea what would come up during this period, neither did my friends. I could not vouch for the members of this pack and say they were all innocent. I was yet to know who was behind all these atrocious acts, and until then, I would do anything in my power to keep everyone safe. Right. Now, let's go in and get this over with. Hands linked, the three of us walked into the ballroom. Erika's POV. I, Erika Blackwood, swear an oath binding me to the sacred and royal position of Ironclaw to protect the people. Keep them safe. Guide them. Ensure the prosperity of this great pack. I also solemnly swear to do my duty by the pack and all who reside in it. To never take for granted or frivolously handle the affairs of this might pack. I swallowed my nerves as I held the short staff given to me by one of the elders of the pack. They must not notice that their new alpha was a bag of nerves. It was not a good way to start my reign. Go on, the elder who had given me the staff urged. I also promised to continue this great legacy started by my ancestors, and to perform as astoundingly as those before me. And I would do my best to do more. I, Erika Blackwood, make this oath with sincerity, zeal, honesty, determination, dedication, transparency, accountability, and good thoughts in my heart, and as I have decided to take on this mantle of leadership, to be devoted and wholly involved in the affairs of this pack, may the powers of the moon be my strength to venture onto this path of leadership, so help me, Moon Goddess. I concluded my oath swearing. The elder collected the short staff from me and gave to the elder that was assisting him, Elder Crix, and took the emblem of leadership that every alpha before me had been given on their coronation day to mark the beginning of their alpha ship. He pinned the wolf-shaped emblem on my gown. It was believed to be made from wolf's skin and gemstone. Father had one. I never knew how they made them, and no one except an alpha wore it. But when it was pinned on my cloth, I felt responsibility of the pack rest of my shoulders, and the zeal to rule also overwhelmed me. By the power vested in me on this day, I, an honorable elder of this great pack, alongside my fellow distinguished elders, announce you, Erika Blackwood, as the new alpha of Ironclaw Pack. Agreed, as it is proclaimed. All of the other elders chorused, standing to give me a uniform bow of their heads, including Elder Grigshade. I looked to where my two best friends stood with wide, proud smiles on their faces. They started clapping for me, and before long, the whole room was drowned in cheerful chaos. Claps here, hoots there, some even sang these ancient songs for when a new alpha ascends the throne. When the whole praises and ovation had died down, the elder nodded at me. Let our new alpha address her people. I cleared my throat. Rika and Kat gave me a thumbs up. I acknowledged them with a grateful smile and nod. Then I looked at the extensive hall with almost all of our members in attendance. I went to stand before the podium and adjusted the microphone so I could be heard. Good day, the blessed werewolves of Ironclaw, I greeted. They all bowed their heads in response. Good day, Alpha. I am grateful for today and for the opportunity to take on this very sacred, honorable duty as your alpha. I am glad that you all have chosen me. Yes, I know you did not literally choose me, but coming here today is a telltale that you all have chosen me. I am most grateful. I do not promise to be my father because we are different, but I promise to be the alpha you will be proud of. I promise to make sure that your needs are met to the best of my ability. Once again, I am grateful, Ironclaw. I took a bow and stepped back from the microphone. Another round of loud ovation and cheerful whistles filled the room. We trust you, Alpha Erika, a little voice shouted. My gaze wandered the crowd until it settled on a little boy who was waving at me, an innocent smile on his lips. My heart filling at the joy of this little boy who had no idea what was happening in the pack, I raised my hand to wave back at him. He squealed in more happiness as I returned his wave. He was overjoyed. Not minding that others were in the room, I let out a laugh. He was no more than 4 or 5. He was resting comfortably on his mother's hips. Thank you for trusting me, I replied. He nodded, then his attention was gone from me to his father. Let the merriment begin, I announced. People began delving into the big array of food prepared by the maids. There was more than enough food to go round. Everyone was taking their dish and serving themselves. The elders came to me to congratulate me. My friends ran to hug me. Who's our newest alpha? Kat squealed excitedly, hugging me and Paula tight. Ironclaw is lucky to have you, Paula commented. She was beaming brightly. Thank you girls so much for your support. I hugged them with so much love and affection for these two people who had proven to be more than just best friends. They were sisters. I don't see anybody dying. I'm taking a dish for myself. Kat eyed the long buffet, already savoring the delicacies with her gaze. Me too. Paula linked hands with her. You coming, Alpha? No, I still have some people to greet. I'll join you girls when I can. I waved them away. I turned to accept congratulations and to mingle with members of the pack I was going to rule. I went to Elder Grigshade. He was talking to someone. He paused as soon as he saw me. So you went ahead to disobey me. His voice was calm, as was his face. I'll suggest forgo whatever thought you concerning me being the alpha, because I already am. We'll be working together in the future, being an elder of the pack. Where's my daughter? Are you not tired of holding her? He narrowed his gaze at me. I smiled. I thought you would never ask. He frowned at my expression. Here's your daughter. I gestured towards the entrance of the room. Tassira stepped into the room wearing an exquisite sky blue gown with real diamonds meticulously sewn on the bodice. She wore diamond earrings and necklace too. She was turning heads. Paula and Kat saw her. They turned to look at me with a knowing smile. She beamed at me and then at her father. "Daddy," she waved, then began walking over to us. "A truce, Elder Grigshade." Erika's POV. A truce? Elder Grigshade stared at the hand I had brought out to seal the truce agreement I wanted to have with him. It had suddenly occurred to me last night that if I was going to be a leader, it would not be wise to start having enemies from the inception of my reign as Alpha. I had discussed it with Kat and Paula, and they had thought it was a good idea, so we had gone with it. I had Paula dress her up, and we had asked her to remain where she was until we were ready to call her out. I had a guard and a maid stay with her. One, I did not want her to escape. Tassira was airheaded and could do crazy things. 2, I wanted the guard to protect her because of what was happening today, my coronation. I could not allow her be without security, because if by any chance something happened to her, her father would really have it out with me. Yes, a truce. My hand was still outstretched, waiting for his own hand to accept the truce. He turned to see his daughter, who was supposed to come greet him, stop at the buffet table, already piling food onto her plate. He looked at her, taking in her exquisitely put-together appearance, then turned back to me. He gazed at my hand. Truce. He accepted my handshake. "Thank you." I nodded and was about to leave when his voice stopped me. "How do you think you'll fare as Alpha?" he asked, a serious expression on his face. "I'll do my best, Elder Grigshade," I replied. I was sorely tempted to ask him about the business he had with my father, and then my brother. I was eager to know what it was all about, and what had started it, but I was having a hesitation there. Something was stopping me from doing it. When was the business started? Who brought about the idea? Who owned the biggest share? Where was this business located? What was being produced? Or sold? Was there a different account that I was not aware of that was linked to the profit gotten from this business? The file had not really revealed much. It was more like an agreement form. I wanted a more personal information on this business. But Elder Grigshade and I were not on that level yet. We just started a truce. The only person that I could have asked was long gone. "You, father, did his best, Erika. But it was not enough." He shrugged. Fear and anger coiled themselves around my chest. What was this man trying to do? What was his reason for doing this to me? Was he trying to rile me up or put fear in me? Mustering my best polite smile to cover up the real emotions within, I met his stare. "How do you mean, Elder Grigshade?" "The best is never enough, Erika. Sometimes you have to be the worst you have to be." I frowned. "What? I'm sorry, I do not understand you. Your father tried to live a good life, not a perfect one. A good one, and look where it landed him." I steeled my spine, using the advantage of my heel to stand up to him. "Do not insult my father's good personality." He chuckled, but it was dry and humorless. "You are not yet ready to be an alpha, Erika. If you keep reacting to everything said to you, you'll be led to blind anger that will destroy more than make you." I seethed. He was right, but the man was annoying as hell. He was intentionally riling me up, and seeing me get trapped into where he wanted me amused him more. "I know how to handle my reign, Elder Grigshade. You don't see me questioning your every move as an elder, do you?" I glared at me. "And I thought you called a truce." He chuckled tauntingly. "An alpha with unstable emotions. Ironclaw is in for some drama." I fisted my hands at my sides, trying to calm my anger down. He was reeling me in. I was not supposed to go with him wherever he was trying to take me to. I blinked and sighed away the anger. I should learn to control my emotions. I was an alpha, not just a part of the royal family anymore. I now held the leadership reins of Blackwood of Ironclaw Pack. I should not let petty things get to me, only when it came to my family. No talk was petty. I took them serious because my family were off limits. "The truce is still on, Elder Grigshade. I had ensured every anger and annoyance were gone from my voice, left with a steady calmness and confidence. Are you sure? Or you'll just go ahead to have a go at me when I make my next statement? He raised a brow at me. I'll take my leave now, Elder Grigshade. Thank you for the truce. Let's work well henceforth. I could not withstand the man's craziness anymore. He was airheaded, just as his daughter was, but she surely took her craziness from him. The man was just something else. Running away from conversations, huh? Is this how you'll lead the people? His words dripped with mockery. His attempt to torch my emotions was something I was not going to allow anymore. My emotions were not going to be easily flamed anymore. No, Elder Grigshade. I have other people to greet, and who wants to greet me? I smiled at him politely. He looked at me for a while. He nodded. All right, Erika. With all due respect, as I address you by your title, kindly do the same. My tone was clipped. You want to be addressed as Alpha? His brow was quirked. Is that not what I am, just as you are an elder? I retorted, also raising my eyebrow. His nod was curt. All right, Alpha Erika. My smile was wide. Thank you, Elder Grigshade. But just N. Alpha, some persons are here to see you. One of my guards came to inform me. Saved by the guard. Who are they? I turned to Elder Grigshade. See you later. I walked away from him. They identify as Alpha Alexander Robertson and Beta Gage Forrest. Alex's POV. How do you think the Alpha will feel that we're coming to him today of all days? I was in the back seat with my Beta, discussing our meeting and what the outcome would probably result to. He was better now. The injury had gone. I would have been here before now, but I had to wait for him to get better. Gage was more than a Beta. He was a friend too. A close one. I could do almost nothing without letting him in on it. When I had informed him of it, he had agreed wholeheartedly because it was already obvious that we needed help. Moon Forest Pack needed help to stand and fight back. Noir was being insensitive and trying to bully us into ceasing to exist. We were the third biggest pack in Fangoria, and it was a thing of shame if we allowed Thunderpaw Pack bring us down. We needed to win this fight. We were holding out and doing our best, but we needed the help of a bigger pack. And the only pack that could easily win this war for us was Ironclaw Pack. They were the biggest and strongest pack in all of Fangoria. They would be able to help us. My mother was still whiny about losing friends and long-distance relatives. My sister was just being nonchalant. The only person showing concern was Serene. She sometimes came to know how I was and what I was doing to solve this war problem. But these days, I felt there was something off about her. Sometimes, she would be on call and would end it immediately I came in. She would leave the pack and not say a word to anybody. I would ask my guards to look for her. They would not find her. The cars in my garage would be complete, meaning she had not taken anyone. I had tried asking her one time, but she had seduced me into forgetting, and we had ended up on my bed. Maybe she had her own issues to deal with. When she was ready, she would let me know. Moreover, I had more pressing issues to deal with too. It's even the best day to come, Alpha. He's getting crowned as the next Alpha of Ironclaw. Coming today will be paying respect to the biggest pack, and also congratulating him. He'll think of the distance we had to drive just to come congratulate him, and he'll be happy to help us. The Beta explained. I can see your point, but I just hope this particular Alpha will be as nice as the last one. I nodded my understanding. You've seen the last one? He turned to me with slight surprise on his features. Not me, my father before he died. I replied. It was difficult seeing the Alpha of the biggest pack in Fangoria. They went in very tight security. Father had told me he had only seen the man once, and it was not in his pack. People knew he had children, but not many could say how many they were. And I once heard that they were two, a boy and a girl, but I had no proof to back it up. so I did not bother believing it. Oh, okay. And the last Alpha said he was nice? He was referring to my father. Yes. Said the man was polite and rarely was boastful, but father had said anyone who had seen him would easily sniff out the power oozing off of him. I uttered, "It's such a pity we will not be getting to see him." The beta replied, "Such a pity indeed." The problem Mom had said Ironclaw was facing turned out it was the last Alpha had been untimely taken off his throne. Some said he was killed, others said he had been poisoned. Soane even believed he was dead. Whatever was the truth, we had no say in it. My prayer was for today to go well for us. My journey down here should not be in vain. Whoever that was, the new Alpha of the pack, should be nice enough to give us a listening ear and help us. Ironclaw was our only hope. If they turned us down, we were done for. Noir would get his way, and the bastard wanted nothing more than that. And I wanted nothing more than to tell the bastard that I would rather die than let him take over my legacy. I would not be alive and let Noir of Thunderpaw Pack ruin my pack and kill my honor. We were almost at the gate of the pack. Before this war, I never moved with heavy security, but Noir and his guards had proven to be crude and wild, using any and every method to wreak havocs. Safety measures needed to be taken. "We're almost here," I informed him. I tried not to let myself think negative. This Alpha would help. I did not mind appealing to his conscience, or making a deal with him. But for the sake and prosperity of the pack, I just hoped I would not be asked to make a deal that would affect the growth or people of Moon Forest. "I think the coronation ceremony is still ongoing," Beta observed as our convoy drove into the electric gate. 2 guards stopped immediately. Our cars entered the extensive compound. Our cars slowed down, and my guard in front came out and pointed our own car. The guards walked to us. I wound the glass down. "Who are you?" one of them asked. "Alpha Alexander Robertson of Moonforest Pack, and here is my beta." "Beta Gage Forest. Purpose of visit?" he asked. "We're here to congratulate the new Alpha of Ironclaw." I answered. "All right, you can step down," one said. One of my guards came to open door, and then the beta's own. The guards of Ironclaw bowed as soon as we were out. "You're welcome to Ironclaw, Alpha." "Beta, thank you. Kindly lead us to where the Alpha is," I said. "Follow me." One of the guards led the way. My beta and I followed him. I heard music and chatters of people as we got near the ceremony hall. "Please, wait here. Let me inform the Alpha of your presence," the guard instructed. "All right." We were the entrance of the hall. Soon, we saw the guard come out. "Come in." I stepped into the hall. "Where's the Alpha?" I asked the guard. "I am the Alpha." My jaw dropped, and my eyes almost popped out of their sockets when I turned toward the voice. Paula's POV. My heart skipped when I heard the guard announce the presence of my mate and the Alpha of our pack. I could not really believe they would be here. Why would they come? How did they know I or Erika was here? Who had given them information? And why would this person give them? Or maybe it was all prank. I looked to where Erika was. She had a stunned look on her face as though she could not believe the names she had just heard. "Do you think it's true? Have they really come?" Kat whispered beside me. I could not reply. I had no answer to that. I glued my eyes to the entrance of this very massive hall and waited with bated breath as Erika ordered the guards to go bring them. Her eyes roamed the place, searching for us. When she finally found us, she raised a brow in confusion and disbelief. But when I heard the Alpha Alexander's voice asking of the Alpha of Ironclaw Pack, I knew it was no joke. The guard was serious. They were here in person. The shock on all 3 of our faces when we saw the 2 men step into the hall was overwhelming. Kat turned to me. "They are really here." "Yes, they are." My tone was distracted, as I saw my mate stood close to the Alpha, A look of disbelief coated his face. My first thought had been shock, but seeing him in person, the mate bond was activated. I was missing him. I dropped the plate of food I was holding in the care of a random guest standing close to me and proceeded to meet him. Kat followed behind. "What? You're the Alpha of Ironclaw Pack?" I heard Alpha Alexander say to her. The shock was refusing to leave his face, as he was finding it difficult to say something else. As for Erika, her face was composed and blank. One would not guess what she was thinking at that point, and if not for anything, I loved her composure. She showed no signs of weakness or any of those emotions. She looked every bit of the alpha she was. My mate turned to see me then. His eyes widened more. "You're here?" My heart raced. I grinned. My mate was fine, well and alive, and he was looking every bit of the handsome werewolf he was. Yes, but why was he not smiling back? Was he not happy to see me? I reached out to hold him. He let me, but he was not holding tight back. His hand was more of lax in mine. That made me frown. "Why did you not tell me?" he asked. Shock had been replaced by disappointment. "Do you know she was here, Gage?" Alexander turned to him, saw and understood the meaning in his eyes. I went on defensive immediately, not minding he was my alpha. Don't blame him, he knows nothing about it. Without waiting for him to reply, I pulled my mate away from the hall and took him into a different room in the mansion. I wanted to take him into Erika's own room, but I remembered that this was a very critical, crazy time, and we needed to be careful. Not that I did not trust my mate, but I had to understand their reason for coming here, to know if anyone had told them of this pack belonging to Erika. I slipped into the room with Gage following behind. "Lock the door," I instructed. He obeyed and turned to me. We stared at each other for a while, none of us saying anything. I sighed. I decided to break the silence. "Are you not happy to see me?" "Under different circumstances. So the circumstances have to be different before you can hug and kiss me, your mate? Does the mate bond work for you that way?" "No, you don't understand. He threw his hands up in the air and let it fall. What? Why did you not tell me about this?" He turned the table on me. "Because Erika wanted it so, and I cannot betray our friendship." "But you can betray our mate bond?" "Betray our mate bond? How? Because I did not tell you Erika is the heiress of Ironclaw and is of royal blood? Is that the betrayal, Gage? Do you know how this makes me look?" he asked instead. "I don't understand." My heart was pounding and my stomach clenched in nerves. What was going on between us? "I know you traveled. The Alpha had once aired his suspicions of you going to meet Erika, but I stood against that opinion, saying you would not lie to me and he should not accuse you. I stood up to me. I was ready to fight him for trying to think you were hiding Erika," he ranted. "I get your point, but it was out of my hands. You know I ordinarily won't keep this from you, but there was no way I could betray her trust. She's my best friend," I defended. "And I'm your mate, Paula," he argued. So, what had this got to do with anything? I took 2 steps closer. My duty. The Alpha's trust in me. Now, he thinks I had probably lied to him about you not being unaware. And you know how he is. He was really angry and disappointed. I was hurt, but I was trying not to be too hurt. I wanted to understand him from his own perspective, but it was hard. I had no idea what to expect from my mate the next time I would see him, but it was certainly not his attitude. He should at least be happy to see me. "So you cannot be happy to see me? Fuck you and your circumstances." I did not wait for him to say anything. I unlocked the door and bumped into Melissa. Erika's POV. I stared into the face of Alexander. His shock and disbelief almost tempted me to crook my lips in self-complacency, to gloat over my wins despite the price it came with, to show off my reputation and wealth to Alexander, so he would realize I was not the common Omega he was seeing me as. But I stopped myself. That would be childish and unnecessary. He was already seeing me as the new Alpha. He had come to witness my ascension to the throne. I kept my face poker. No feelings whatsoever. I wanted him to see me as a strong Alpha and not the meek, obedient wife he knew me as. I watched Paula leave with her mate, his beta. I hoped she would be fine because from the look on Gage's face, he was not finding any of this funny. I would have to talk him and tell him it was my choice not to let anyone know, and she had done what anyone would do for a friend. But until then, I had this Alpha from Moonforest Pack to attend to. Whatever his reasons for coming, I had to take it professionally, and will take it to the meeting room for guests. He was a guest, and I would treat him as such. Give me a minute, Alpha Robertson. I was intentionally formal with him. There was nothing between us anymore, not even the slightest personal relationship. It did not matter what my heart was saying. He would be treated with formality. I went to the stage and got hold of the microphone. Hello, everyone. Alpha. Majority of the crowd screamed, and it made my heart swell in delight. These people liked me. They had chosen me with their heart. They truly were happy I was the Alpha. For this reason, I would make it my life's work to keep them safe. Whatever evil that might try penetrate Ironclaw, I would, to the best of my knowledge, bring them down. These were my people, and they deserved the best. And I, Alpha Erika, would give them the best. I raised my gaze to meet Alexander's. He was looking at me as though he still could not believe I was the one and same Erika he had known. Maybe hearing my people scream my name in praises would make him believe. I tore my eyes away from his and focused on the crown before me. I am so happy to be loved by you all. This shows that my reign would be great and though not easy, but prosperous. I look forward to make you all feel happy and satisfied. You can continue the party, as I'll be leaving you guys to attend to an equally respectable Alpha of Moonforest Pack. I guess my first duty as Alpha has presented itself. I laughed softly. The others joined in. But stay safe and be careful. Thanks once again for accepting me. The Moon Goddess be with you all. And with you too, Alpha Erika. Voices from the crowd chorused. Thank you. I stepped down amidst cheers and claps. Kat walked up to me. What do you possibly have to say to him? I don't know yet. Don't you think it's quite suspicious? She asked, glancing back at him. What is? I refrained from sparing him a glance. The fact that he is here. What if he's here on a different business? I read the meaning behind Kat's question in her eyes. You think he might be here to harm me? She shrugged. He has been looking for you, hasn't he? He thinks you're responsible for what happened to Saren. Remember, you never got any news of either Get's survival or death. That brought chills down my bones. That was true, but I was an Alpha now. He would not be able to hurt me. And if Saren had died, what was the evidence that I had killed her? I sighed as soon as the question came into my head. Everyone present there had thought I had stabbed. It was she and I that knew the truth of what had happened that day. I finally spared him that glance. He was looking our way. He does not look like he's here for revenge, Kat. You still believe him and his countenance? Have you forgotten that Alphas are trained to be deceptive with their expressions? That it makes it hard for their enemies to know what they're thinking? Kat reasoned. And I was seeing her point. But what should I do? Ignore him? He had come this far to seek my audience. The best I could do was give it to him. He would not hurt me. Now he knew I was an Alpha and would not want to mess with me in my own pack. Moreover, he was aware that Ironclaw was the strongest pack and we did not lose in battles. We had never lost. The Alphas before me had never lost, and I would not be the one to break that chain. Also, no pack dared go to war against us. They already knew what their fate would be, and so most packs come to us for help and advice. Have you forgotten Ironclaw Pack and what it stands for, Cat? Ever since we were kids, have you ever heard that we lost a war? Or be defeated? She sighed. No, that should tell you something. Alexander would not want to try anything funny, because he already knows who I am. Whatever fate that might have befallen his new Luna, Saren is not my doing. I have my connection and wealth. I would use everything in my power to find the truth and make sure Saren's lies and manipulation are exposed. All right, will you be fine on your own? I cast a glance his way again. Will coming with me make you feel better about my safety? Yes, she smiled. All right, let's go hear what the Alpha of Moonforest has to tell me. Erika's POV. What would you like to drink? We were seated at the round table in the meeting room. I had chosen that over the throne and sofa in the big room that could easily hold 50 to 60 persons. Every part of this mansion was big and luxurious. No, I'm good, he opposed. I like to offer my guests something to wet their throat, especially if they have come a long way to see me. So please, allow me do this, Alpha Robertson, I insisted, wearing my formal smile. He looked from me to Kat, as though he was wondering why she was seated beside me. What was he expecting? For just the both of us to be locked in a room? And do what? Kiss and make up? If that was what he was here for, then he had a long thing coming for him. I was no longer that Erika of Moonforest. That girl was long gone. This was Erika of Ironclaw, and I was in my territory. All right, if you insist. He nodded. Thank you. I nodded too. I turned to the maid, who had been patiently standing beside me, waiting for his response. Go get him a cup of his coffee, good? Or you need something strong? I knew he liked to drink whiskey, but I was no longer his wife to decide those choices for him. I would not assume a position I had been chased from. Humiliated and embarrassed beyond my imagination, I willed those memories away. Whiskey is fine if you're not bothered by it, he said. I frowned a bit. Why would I be bothered by his choice of drink? He meant nothing to me. We were nothing to each other. Not anymore. The bond had been dissolved and the marriage annulled. No, Alpha. You're free. I turned to the maid. Bring him a decanter of whiskey and a glass. Yes, Alpha. The maid bowed. Out of the corner of my eyes, I noticed Alexander's brows slightly raised in shock over the mention of Alpha the maid had called me. He was still finding it hard to believe over the fact I was being called Alpha. Get us a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, please. Kat told the maid. Tell another maid to help you with the trays and drinks. Yes, my lady. She bowed and went away to do as she had been instructed. So, what brings you to my pack, Alpha Robertson? I fixed my stare on him, waiting his reaction when I called this pack mine. He looked lost for a while. I wanted to laugh, but I held myself. That would have been un-alpha of me, if that was even a word, and I did not want to look that way to him. I wanted to keep my aura, and let him sniff the authority and power that was oozing off of me. Please, I'd suggest you speak up as I have some other important duties to attend to. I was proud of myself in that moment. The tone had been firm and powerful. The maid came in then with 1 other maid. They reached our side and dropped the glass and decanter of whiskey before him. She poured whiskey in his glass and left the decanter covered. The other maid was carrying our own tray of wine and 2 glasses. She dropped it before us, Kat and I. She also uncorked the bottle and filled our glasses. They bowed and took their leave after asking if there was another thing we wanted to, which we replied negative. So, Alpha, please let us get on to the business why you're here. I took a small sip of my drink and dropped it, meeting his own gaze. Was he looking uncomfortable? Why did he look to me that way? All right, there's trouble, he began. I frowned. My gaze met Kat, who shrugged cluelessly. What sort of trouble, Alpha Robertson? Moon Forest are undergoing an attack at the moment, and we need help. Moon Forest is the third biggest and strongest pack. What pack are you finding too hard to get victory over? I mean, it's quite ludicrous, if you ask me. Is your security down and weak? I was taunting him, and I guessed he knew it, which was why his face fell shamefully for a moment before he composed himself again. He cleared his throat. I would like to say Moon Forest have held their own fort, but we are up against an enemy that have decided to fight dirty, even though we are trying to win this battle without going dirty. Well, there is nothing clean about war. To win, you have to do anything within your power to win. If your enemies are going dirty, you go dirty, I told him. When did Alexander begin to think this calm? He was ruthless when I knew him, and I would not think he would be this scared of engaging in a war. What had changed? Was there something he was not telling me? I could feel his fear, as though he was desperate to be rid of this chaos he was experiencing his pack. Yes, I know, Erika. I raised a brow. It's Alpha Blackwood. Pay me the same respect I've been paying to you. Sorry, Alpha Blackwood, he corrected. Thank you. So, what exactly do you need me to do for you concerning this war? I asked again. I need your help, he stated. Almighty Alexander needed help. Wonderful. How the tables had turned. He would never have believed it if he was ever told that he would come back to me to ask for help. Well, he technically was not aware he was going to meet me, but now that he had, there was no choice for him. I do not know how you rule your pack, but I have a rule, I informed him. What rule? I do not help packs that are troublesome. So, Alpha Robertson, if you have started this war, then I cannot help you. Erika's POV. He was about to reply when I saw Paula walking into the room. There was an impatient spring in her step, as though she could not wait to reach our table. She took a seat on my left, as Kat had already occupied the seat on my right. She was not looking okay at all. Did she have a fight with her mate? I looked at Kat. She too was having the same thoughts. What had Gage said to her? And why was she so gloomy? She was holding her tears. She did not want to cry. I looked at Alexander. He looked at bewildered too. If it turned out he had a hand in Paula's current emotional state, I would not just refuse to help him. I would kick him out of my pack in the most humiliating way possible. Are you okay, Paula? I'm in a meeting here. Maybe you could go wait for me in the room. Yes, I agree. Let's go, Paula. I'll stay with you. Kat agreed and stood. I have something to say to Alpha Alexander. She spoke up. But before she continued, she took my glass of wine and downed it. Whatever you're going to blame Gage for, do not. He has no idea I am here. He was not aware I was going to be coming here. I only told him I will be visiting a friend, but I never told him who the friend was. So, do not punish me or blame him. Understood? You do know you're talking to your alpha, Paula. If you want to talk to me, do it with respect. I would advise you actually listen to what she just said. Do not blame Gage for this, and she's not lying. I interjected. Sorry. Alpha Blackwood, I would suggest you allow me deal with my pack mem. Paula is my best friend, and I would not allow her mate bond be in jeopardy just because of what you may want to think. Unlike you, I know how to address an issue fair and square. I was referring to the day he'd asked me to publicly apologize to Saren, even though I was innocent. That day was still fresh in my memory. I still remembered everything she had said and how he had believed her over me. I would not allow him do that to Paula and Gage. These were mates, and I would not let him ruin them with his insensitivity to their plight. He knew what day I was referring to, and actually had the guts to glare as though I was some bad memory he wanted to eject from his head. I did not need any soothsayer to tell me he still believed I had done it. Well, he was at my mercy this time, and I would deal with him accordingly. We are both alphas, and I know you will not be pleased when you're being told how to run your pack or deal with issues arising within your pack mem. I cut him off again. Fine, Alpha Robertson. I apologize for telling you how to run your pack. I believe before you ascended the throne, you already know how to deal with issues. Any kind of issues. I smiled. He got my meaning. That is not. And so I take this to mean that I have been relieved of any willingness to help, and will be returning to attend to other important issues. Have a good day, Alpha. I stood and pulled Paula up from her seat. Kat stood with me. She took our bottle and 2 glasses with her. I agree, Paula. The 3 of us paused. With a slow, deliberate turn, I faced him. You agree to what? I asked him. I agree not to hold Gage responsible for this surprise. What surprise? I crooked a brow. I was toying with him. It made me feel quite powerful to be able to deal with him that way. Now, I had power, and now, he was at my mercy. I could decide not to help, and I would be fine, but whatever that had made Alexander leave the comfort of his pack to this place, it was quite desperate then. I knew him enough to know he had pride, and he would not have agreed if he knew he could handle it himself. This made me more curious to what was happening on his pack, and how brutal this war was. That you're the alpha of Blackwood Pack. His response was somewhat defeated and meek. Alexander, defeated and meek? That was another reason to be concerned and curious. Oh, that surprise. I smirked. Such is life, Alpha Robertson. That is why we must never treat people shabbily or disrespect their presence in our lives. Don't you agree? He was silent at first. Don't you agree, Alpha? I repeated, putting more authority in my voice. By leadership rank, I was higher than him. He was 3rd ranking, and he knew this. He knew if he engaged with me or tried to mess with me, he would no longer have a pack. I turned to Paula. Have you heard him? She nodded. Yes. Don't worry. Your relationship with Gage will be fine. She nodded. Please, Alpha. How soon can you help me? Let's join forces to win this war and restore peace back to my people. He was pleading. He was desperately begging for help. As an Alpha, I knew what it meant to have your legacy on the path to extinction. And it was going to be a thing of shame if an Alpha with a pack as big as Moonforest become the laughingstock in a war. Though not the biggest, but they had earned enough reputation to just be defeated in a war. A big surprise to me because I never thought this day would come. What had happened to Moonforest and its Alpha? Things are not done that way, Alpha. I told him. This was my turn to test him as he had done me. I don't understand. This war does not concern me or my men. So if I am going to risk their lives, terms and conditions apply. Please, don't be like. Come back when you're ready, Alpha Robertson. I walked out of the meeting room with my girls beside me. A sly smile appeared on my lips. Jace's POV. I spluttered as water was splashed on me, and it was really cold. The freezing time. I opened my eyes. There were 2 of them, still on masks. What do you guys want from me? I was tied to a chair. My head hurt. My temples throbbed. Instead of replying me, they brought Bob Bucket, if ice, and poured all over me. I was almost shivering to death. Who were these guys, and what was it they wanted from me? Who was their boss? I could remember they had said something about a woman being their leader. What did they want me? What did this female boss want with me? Had she told their men to capture me? But I still could not understand why she wanted me. And how had she known I was going to be taking that path? Who had told her? I could guess they had been following me. But then my leaving the pack had been impromptu. No one had known. None of the residents of the pack had seen me leaving the mansion. This was why I had no guard follow me, because I did not want anyone to be with me. I wanted no one to be aware of my traveling. My eyes widened when I saw someone bring a long, vicious-looking whip into the place where they had kept me. W what G guys double we. My heart skipped 1,000 times. I was wet, and if that whip should be used on me, I was dead. The person holding the whip came closer and circled me. I tried to turn, but the chair was not cooperating. I was soaked to the skin. A scream erupted from my mouth when pain stung my back. The whip kissed my skin harshly again. Another scream could be heard from me. Fuck, the pain was blinding. My back hurt. My head was pounding furiously. It was as though there was war going on in my head. Someone's phone rang. He picked it. Yes, boss. He waited a beat. Okay, boss. He walked next to me. He put the phone on loudspeaker. The boss wants to speak to you. At that point, I was going crazy with pain. My every skin on my back hurt badly. Hello. I could not speak properly. I was feeling pain everywhere. If it isn't the wealthy son, Jace Blackwood, the voice said. I could not really place the voice. It was kind of scratched, as though it was done on purpose to prevent anyone from guessing the gender. No matter how hard I tried to comprehend the voice, I could not. W, who, are you? I groaned in pain. I heard a cold chuckle at the other end of the line. Then it abruptly stopped. Whip him! Another stroke of the whip at the nape of my neck, and I was blinded by the pain it brought. My eyes stung, but I held the will to allow the tears drop. No, I would not allow it drop. I would try to find a way out of here. I would end you the same way your sister ended my brother. An eye for an eye. A sister loses her brother, another loses hers. It's payback time, Jace Blackwood, the static voice said. P, please. We see can Ara. A stun gun was pressed to my sides. I could almost not feel any part of my body. The voice at the other end of the line erupted into a wicked form of laughter. Jace. Jace. Jace? By the time I am done with you, your sister won't be able to recognize you. I guess you did not know your sister has finally done coronation today. She's now the alpha, the voice paused. I was happy for Erika, and I was glad it was me in this situation, not her. I would not be able to bear the thought of her being here while I was somewhere else. She deserved to be the alpha. It was her birthright. I screamed again. I felt the sting of the whip 3 consecutive times while the stun gun was pressed again to my sides. At this rate, I would die. I noticed that whenever the voice stopped, they would torture me. I would have told you, tell her to enjoy the seat while it lasted. But unfortunately, you won't be leaving here alive. But not to worry yourself. I'll deliver my message to her directly. Whips and stun guns shook my body violently. I was losing strength. I could feel myself succumbing. The torture was too much and I had to leave. I had to find a way to escape from this place. That was the only choice, to leave here. I would not die just like that, and even though it would seem impossible to leave here, I would fight my way out. And even if I would die, I would not die a coward. I would rather die in a fight than surrender like a fool. No Blackwood was a fool or a weakling. Have you ever been told of your background? Your real family? All your life, they have made you believe you to be a Blackwood. I used to think so too, until I found out just recently. There was a short, wicked laugh. But I would not spoil the mystery for you, Jace. What I drawled out weakly. What was this person talking about? I was a Blackwood, and it was obvious. They were just trying to mess with my mind. No, I would not believe them, whoever this person was. Oh yes, I was shocked too when I found out. I've always known you to be Jace Blackwood. I was already anticipating the pain as soon as this person paused. And the pain came, but this time it was with a club. I was hit on my thighs. Oh, fuck. I did not want to be crippled. No, anything but being confined to a wheelchair for life. I hope you're listening, Jace. I should no longer refer you as a Blackwood because you're not biologically one. Who told me? Another short laugh. I have eyes and ears everywhere, Jace. Even in your mansion, right under your nose. When the club hit me, I did not feel the pain as much as I felt the shock of realizing who had seen me when I was leaving shit. That treacherous maid. Erika's POV. How did I do, girls? We were in our room. I was pulling off my dress. You were fantastic, Paula said. That was very sassy. I loved it. Kat seemed to be the happier one. Right. I smiled widely and went to my closet. I was clad in just my matching black undies. I rummaged for something simple to wear. I saw a casual, short-sleeved chiffon Align mini-gown that was usually comfortable, and I threw it on. I joined my friends who had changed into casual wears too on Paula's bed in my room. I took note of Paula's countenance. She was trying to be happy. Mate and troubles. First, it was I and Alex. Then Kat and Jace. Now it is Paula and Gage. I sighed. Why did mates exist if they were going to be lots of troubles? The moon goddess was yet to allow me understand why she would make mate bonds so difficult. I had no idea what had really transpired between Paula and Gage, but I knew it was not going to be something minor if it had Paula looking like that. Yes, I'm sure he would not mess with you again, Kat put in. Yeah, I'm sure too, Paula said rather distractedly. She had been the one caring for us both when it was Kat and I. She needed us to be there for her just as she had been there for us. She did not need to tell us. As though on cue, I and Kat went closer to her. I put my hands around her in a comforting manner. As soon as Kat and I crowded her, her face scrunched into a very sad one. And soon, tears fell from her eyes. He prefers his duty to me. I'm not saying he should not do his duty, but I'm his mate. I missed and I was expecting a hug from him, a kiss too, just to have a nice time with my mate. But this is what I get. A cold attitude and an argument. I've lost sleep because of him. I'm sorry. My voice was low and sympathetic. You'll be fine, honey. Kat's tone was equally comforting and reassuring. How? When? When he was sick, I was sleepless. Because of him, I had a huge fight with you girls. I was ready to leave the pack, despite the danger it posed to my life. But just because he saw me here and I had not told him, he refused to even acknowledge the fact that we've been too far apart. She sobbed. Kat and I kept consoling her. There was nothing else Kat and I could do except sit with her and console her. Though I would love to know how the conversation between them had gone, I felt I should not intrude. Unless she was ready to tell us. That was fine. What have I done to deserve this? Paula looked at me. I shook my head. She turned to Kat, who also shook her head. Then, if I did nothing, how come things are going this way? How come I cannot even have a decent conversation with my mate? Again, Kat and I had no answer to those questions. We only kept quiet and held her hand, squeezing in comfort. She kept crying and lamenting. We only held her hand. It had hurt like this when it was Alex and I. Now seeing him after a while, I had not believed I would still react that way towards him. It had taken all of my will not to hit him and break down before him. I was still angry at him, so very angry. And it was this anger I would use as a weapon to fight back. He had fought me when I was weak and could not fight back. Now it was my turn to fight back when he was weak. This was his weak moment, and I would use it against him. I would use this help he had come to ask me as a leverage to pay him back. A knock sounded on the door, and I went to answer it. It was Gage. Hello, Erika. I've not had time to greet you, Alpha. He bowed. I waved a dismissive hand. Oh, come off it, Gage. I wrapped him in a hug, then whispered in his ears. Make up with my girl or I'll kill you. He chuckled and whispered back, That's what I'm here for. I withdrew from the embrace and smiled. Good. He walked to where Paula was. Kat stood from the bed and came to stand with me. We both watched the event unfold before us. He stooped before her. I'm sorry, babe. I did wrong. I should have told you how much I missed you before whatever. I'm sorry. I love you. She wept more and leaned into him for a hug. He hugged her, joining her on the bed. He lifted her chin and captured her lips in his. A happy smile spread my lips. They both locked lips for what seemed like eternity. Paula pulled back from the kiss. Go away, both of you. Both of us chuckling. We left those two mates in the room. Is the event still holding? Kat asked. It should have ended by now, I replied. We were walking down the hallway. Do you think we should check on them? We should not take the front. We're not properly dressed, Kat pointed out. I took in Kat's simple mini dress like mine. You're probably right. We went round the back of the mansion to see what was happening in the events hall. People rarely knew this place existed. The ceremony's being done for your sake, yet you're missing. How very alpha of you, Kat teased. I was tired. I'm allowed to rest as alpha. I elbowed Kat playfully. A figure jumped out from the corner we were about to take. Mother of the Moon. I panicked a little. Oh my goodness. Kat was holding her chest. It was Melissa. Erika's POV. Alpha, my lady. She bowed to us. I tried to observe her expression, but there was nothing to see. How are you? I'm fine, Alpha. Kat looked at her. What are you doing all by yourself here? Nothing. Just watching the ceremony from here. She pointed towards the entrance Kat and I had been about to go sneak a peek from. There were no maids in the ceremony. They were all busy trying to keep the mansion running clean. It was just the guards that were in there, and not all of them. They had been ordered to be there for security and protection, to ensure nothing went wrong with the ceremony. So you want to be a part of the celebration? I asked her, a smile forming on my face. For some reason, I really liked Melissa, and like I had stated earlier, she was not my personal maid, but these days, I preferred having her around more and handling whatever it was I wanted done. Maybe it was because she was smart and all. I really liked people who were smart. Melissa was one of those people. Despite the fact she was a maid, she was still very intelligent, and it drew me closer to her. She smiled coyly. I would not mind, but there's no other maid in there. Moreover, I know the rules, so I'm quite contented watching from here. I looked at Kat. She returned the look. I would have loved to take her to my room and help her look good, but Paula and Gage were in there. I would not want to disturb them. Erika Blackwood. Even before I turned to see the face, I already knew the owner of the voice. I would recognize it anywhere and any time. My ex-mate and husband, Alpha Alexander. What else did he want? Was he ready to listen to my own terms and conditions? I wanted to smile. I was tempted to, but I withheld myself from smiling. I did not want him to see me smile. Kat gave me a subtle nudge to turn around. I looked away and intentionally ignored his presence behind me, for what seemed like forever, but was actually few seconds to be exact. You can go away now, Melissa. We'll talk later. I smiled at her. She beamed and bowed politely. Thank you, Alpha. She turned to Kat. My lady. Then she walked out of our presence. I heard her greetings to Alpha Alexander and her fading footsteps. With a slow, deliberate turn, I faced him. Yes, Alpha Robertson? Can we talk? He stood staring at my face. Have you thought about the terms and conditions? I refused to acknowledge how handsome he had looked to me, and how handsome he still was. I require your presence alone, please. He was a desperate man, and he looked like a desperate man. I do not have the time to waste. Alpha Robertson. As you can see, Today is my coronation, and I am supposed to be there with my people celebrating the beginning of my reign. I was intentionally throwing my position and reputation in his face. It might look and sound petty. I did not care. I was ready to go every shade and kind of petty there was. I know, but you're not there. Moreover, you've changed your dress, which shows you're no longer going back there. So, please, let us talk. I turned to Kat. She looked at me and shrugged. I would advise you, do not waste my time. As an alpha, you definitely know how much time is precious to us. Understood? I quirked a serious brow. He gave a small nod. Understood. Let's go. I nudged Kat. I frowned, looking at him. What is it, Alpha Robertson? He looked from me to Kat, then to me. I stood watching him. What was wrong with him? Why was he behaving as though he could suddenly not talk? In private, he finally said. In private? What's wrong? You know, Kat, she's not a stranger. I knew this was an official meeting, but since it was him, I did not want to be alone with him. I did not want to have to be found seating with just him. For some reason, I wanted a support. The presence of some other person other than the two of us would help me. Maybe I still harbored feelings for him, or maybe I did not. I was yet to find out. And that was probably what I did not want to find out just yet. I wanted to just keep it professional with him. With everything he had done to me during the 3 years of our marriage, it was not going to be easy to just find any common ground with him. But I was willing to make him pay. For that, I was willing to go the extra mile to make Alexander Robertson pay for how he had humiliated me, cheated on me, disrespected our mate bond, and insulted me. I do not deny knowing Kat, but I just want to see you alone. His tone was pleading. I'm sorry, but you cannot see me alone. It's either you see Kat and myself, or you leave my pack. I made to leave his presence. Don't leave Erika Blackwood. Let's just talk. Kat looked at me. I could understand the words in her eyes. She wanted me to go with him. Go. If you'll excuse me, Alpha. Let me see her a bit. I pulled Kat out of his earshot. What are you trying to say, Kat? You already know. Kat said. Yes, I already know, but what I don't understand is the why. I could not believe she was telling me to go with him. I just feel pity for him. She shrugged. You feel pity for him? Have you forgotten what he did to me, Kat? My struggle to keep my voice from trembling was difficult. I did not want to remember. Remembering brought me pain. Erika's POV. Yes, I know, Rika. I know how much you have been hurt, but he's here. And I'm sure just as you are that he has been waiting. Even after you left him there, he has been waiting. Have mercy, Rika. She was feeling pity for him? What had happened to Kat? I might had expected this from Paula, but Kat? And I could actually see the pity written all over face. He only came because he needs Ironclaw's help. He needs my power and my guards. I did not want to allow myself fall trap that he was actually deserving of pity. Alex did not deserve my pity. He did not deserve my sympathy. I was not even supposed to allow him entrance talk more of audience. As soon as I had seen him, I should have thrown him out of my pack, but I had not. Still, he would not get help easy from me. Any help I rendered to him would come at a price. That may be, Rika. But you need to at least go see him alone. Hear what he has to say, Kat advised. I have no problem listening to what he has to say, but you and I will go. That's the only way, if he really wants my help. Kat stared at me for a while. Feeling a bit uncomfortable, I moved away a bit. What? Why are you looking at me that way? Do you still like him? Kat raised a brow at me. I stiffened, a scowl appearing on my face. What do you mean by that? I mean, why are you scared to be with him in a room? Just the two of you. Who told you I'm scared? The scowl deepened. I really did not like where Kat was leading this discussion. How did we end up here? Why would she even think that? Then why are you against being with him in a room? She was looking at me expectantly. I am not. I paused when I realized I was raising my voice. I narrowed my annoyed gaze at her. She merely shrugged, a small smile playing on her lips. You're not what? I'm not against being with him in the room, but I do not want to. I told you what he had done. I was beginning to grow upset. What the hell was wrong with Kat? Why was she even bringing up topics like this? She was pretending as though she had not been aware when he had done everything he had done to me. The times I'd cried, they knew about it. The pains, the humiliation, and every other circumstance I'd gone through in his household. Kat and Paula had been aware of everything. Why was she pretending as though she had no knowledge of it? Why was she doing as though I had not called her whenever he would make me cry? I know everything that had happened between you two when you were still with him, but you're bigger than whatever payback you're going for. What are you saying, Katharina? I had both my hands fisted by my sides. See, I understand you, Rika. I would be lying if I said I didn't. And as your best friend, I support whatever you plan to do to him. Frankly, he deserves it. But why don't you go see him? It's not like he would try something funny with you in your own mansion. This is your territory, Rika, not his. She stepped forward to take my fisted hands. She uncurled them and squeezed encouragingly. You are the alpha of Ironclaw, not the mate and wife of the alpha of Moonforest. You answer to no one except yourself. He does not have any reign or superiority over you anymore. You're a leader. Show him you're one. Go into that meeting room with him and show him he no longer means anything to you, she advised. I sighed. She had a point. I should not let him decide for me. Whatever he might have done to me, it was only honorable of me to go see him. But that did not stop me from getting back at him if I wanted to. All right, I would go see him. I agreed. She pulled me into a hug. Be careful, Alpha. I hit her playfully. What's with the formality? She chuckled. I am a member of this pack. I should not forget who my Alpha is. How would you forget who I am? I eyed her playfully. I would keep seeing you as a friend, the girl I grew up with, not the leader of my pack. I always want you to see me that way. To you and Paula, I am your best friend. Call me Alpha next time and pay dearly for it. Got it? I wagged a threatening finger at her. She laughed. Yes, ma'am. I hit her again. Hey, ouch. Stop hitting me, she whined. Now, shoo. Go meet the man of your dreams. I gave her a stink eye. She laughed and held both hands in surrender. Sorry. Then she blew me a kiss and walked out. I was left on my own. I took a deep breath and went back to where I had left him standing. Surprisingly, he was still there. Had he been standing there all these while? I cleared my throat. He was watching me take bold steps toward him. Yes, my steps were bold. I would not allow him envision me scared or uncertain of myself. And I certainly was not frayed with nerves. This way, Alpha. I led him towards the meeting room, where I had hosted him before. A lot of thoughts running through my mind. Why did Alex want to see me in private? Was he trying to talk to me about our past? I sure was not ready to hear anything about that. The deal was to help him win a war, which would only happen if he agreed to my terms and conditions. We entered the room, and this time, I decided to take the throne. I needed the boost of confidence, and also to remind him of his position in my pack. Please, have a seat. I offered him a seat. He took one. Your time starts now, Alpha. I miss you. Alex's POV. I had not intended to blurt those words to her. They had just come out. I did not know what had prompted me to say it. Maybe it was seeing her again, watching her move as gracefully and confident as she used to. Though she was confident and graceful in her movement, there was this gentleness that could not be overlooked. It was there, in her every step, her poises and stances. I had missed the way she talked and that face of hers. I had no idea what I had been missing until now. I might had sworn to fight her for what she did to Saren, but that had barely registered in my mind as soon as I saw her. I found myself staring at her, waiting for her reaction. I was waiting for her response. She had changed. I could see it. I needed no soothsayer to tell me that. There was this powerful aura that she exhibited and the authority that oozed off of her in great waves. I could only stare at her in respect and awe. It had barely been 3 weeks, but I could see the changes. Everything that had changed in her and around her. Is this some sort of joke, Alpha Robertson? She crooked a displeased brow. I'm sorry, it's not joke. I quickly apologized. I was at her mercy. Without her, there would barely be anything left of my pack. When I had said I missed her, I had not been lying, but I really need her regardless. The chances of her accepting me back was zilch. The way we had separated was not cordial. There had been this coldness already existing between us. And after the incident with Saren, it had gone from worse to worst. Is this why you called me? Is this why you asked to see me privately? She questioned. Her eyes were hardened. No, it's not. Believe it was not my intention to say that. I tried to defend myself. Then why did you? Her expression was stoic and unsmiling. She seemed to be really pissed. I don't know, it just came out. I'm really sorry. I do not think I can help you if you continue to play unserious. I am busy. I have a pack to run, she pointed out bluntly. Fear took hold of it. I could not afford losing her help. Ironclaw was the only hope I had when I came here. I could not afford for leave here without the agreement of her helping me. Noir was determined to ruin my pack, and I would not let it happen. Hence, I needed to be careful with my words henceforth. Feelings aside, I needed to do what I had come to do in the first place. I'm truly sorry. Forgive my manners. I would endeavor to girdle my tongue as we go on. Please, let's ignore what I had just said like it never happened. I pleaded. I had no choice but to plead. That was the only way out for me. I could not afford to annoy her. She was my lifesaver at this point. Her pack was the only pack that could destroy Thunderpaw. Her hard gaze was unrelenting. I think we should make some things clear here, Alpha Robertson. You and I have nothing personal in common. Whatever that used to exist was long gone. It has ended and has been dissolved before the public. She adjusted herself on her alpha seat before continuing. You came to me for help. You are in my territory, in my pack, in my mansion. You need to watch what you say to me. I have a legacy to uphold, as I'm sure you do too. I'm not done. She cut me off bluntly. I nodded, encouraging her to go on. I was beginning to feel embarrassed, like she was doing all of this for show. She was ostentatiously putting on a boastful demeanor. She wanted me to see what she had become and what she now had in her possession. It made me wonder, how had I not known the person I had married? How had she managed to keep her identity hidden from me? How had she even stayed 3 years in my abode, under my guidance, and not known she was the daughter of the most wealthiest alpha? Who would have thought that quiet, gentle Erika was the heiress apparent of such prestigious and strong pack? Had Paula known and kept it from me? Obviously, she had known, else she would not have lied, or, according to how Gage had put it, lied by omission. She had simply not said it, just said she was going to see a friend who needed her. That friend had turned out to be Erika, my ex-mate and ex-wife. Now I was at her mercy, and this was a very serious matter. As I was saying, we both have a legacy to uphold. You came to ask for help, and I am yet to give a stand on that, which of course you're delaying. Or have you made up your mind, Alpha? She stared pointedly at me. How can I delay? I came for help, and I am ready for the help, I told her. Why would I delay when it was I who needed her? I did not leave my pack to this place only to ruin the opportunity. Are you ready for the terms and conditions? She inquired. Terms and conditions. Those words sounded like a death trap. I had been praying for this not to come up, but it had still come up. Saying yes was not the problem, but what was the terms and conditions she wanted? Was it something I could do? What if it was a condition I could not meet? Is there no other way around this? I stared beseechingly. I'm afraid there isn't. Her response was crisp and cool. Willing nerves away, I decided to give it a try. What are these terms and conditions? It's just one condition. Oh, name it. If I save your pack and help you win this war, I'll get 70% of your pack's mineral resources and yearly income. Erika's POV. If it isn't Ironclaw's newest alpha. I turned towards the familiar voice and ran into his arms. Noir Heart, my male best friend from childhood. Responsibility and duty had separated us for years, but that did not mean we had stopped being best friends. Noir, you crazy fellow. I hugged him, laughter and joy filling my heart. Ouch, you hurt my heart, Riri. He was the only one who called me Riri. You came. I squealed. I was so happy to see him. Noir Heart of Thunderpaw Pack. The second strongest pack in Fangoria, and from what I had heard, he was a ruthless alpha. Well, every alpha had to be ruthless and brutal. It was the only way to retain leadership, else one would be thrown off their alpha throne before they could blink. Of course I came. Why would I want to miss my best girl's coronation? That would be an unforgivable sin. He laughed. I smiled. Noir Heart was a tall, handsome guy, though his attractiveness was more dark. His black hair was the exact same shade of his eyes. But I think he had the most brilliant smile ever. He had come to my coronation, and that was the sweetest thing ever. I knew how much it took for him to make that sacrifice, especially as an alpha who had his own pack to rule. I found it endearing that he made out time to come see me. After my discussion with Alex, he had looked so dumbfounded that he had not been able to say anything else. I knew the condition I had given to him was crazy, and no one would agree to it. But he was a desperate man, and while I had dismissed him since he was not giving me an answer, I knew he would be back. He would return, and then I would begin the game with him in full. I would help him. I already knew that, but I was not going to let him know just yet. I had seen the anger on his face, but I was unbothered. He had done worse to me. After he and Gage had left, Paula, Kat, and I had hardly had time to discuss when I was being called into the ballroom. The elders wanted to see me briefly before they went. They had gone now. I'd had to change into another befitting dress and had just finished with them when I heard Noir's voice. I would recognize that baritone anywhere, any day. It was no news that Noir and I used to crush on each other, but we had never really acted on it. Maybe we might have if Judy had not called him at such a young age. Kat, who had been discussing with some girls she knew from the pack, spotted him and rushed over, smiling hugely. Noir saw her and beamed too. We had all been together before Noir left, and could not come as frequently as he used to until he stopped coming finally. If it isn't Noir of Thunderpaw. Kat hugged him. He lifted her, knowing how much she disliked it. She hit him, struggling to be put down. Remind me never to come say hello whenever he comes around again, Rika. She directed to me. I merely laughed. Noir had always loved lifting Kat that way. I had never really understood why he would want to keep doing things Kat did not want him to. I guess he just loved annoying her. He was always looking for things she hated. Then he would end up doing it. Kat used to fight him all the time when we were kids, until she stopped after noticing that the more she fought him, the more he annoyed her. You can't do that, Meow. He laughed. Kat narrowed her eyes at him. I could not help the laughter. That was Noir for us. He had once said Cat's name was similar to the feline cat, and ever since called her Meow to make his point. And you're laughing. She glared at me accusingly. I'm sorry, but it's just too funny. I could not stop the laughter. It just kept coming. Even Noir was deep into it. The hall went silent to stare at us. I sobered up when I noticed it and cleared my throat. My first day of being alpha, and I was laughing like a loon before the people I was supposed to be ruling. Paula was not in the hall with us, that crazy girl. She claimed after the time spent with her mate. She was too tired to come out, so she was inside, resting. Kat and I had teased her about having too much of Gage. She had shamelessly replied that the lovemaking had been intense and wild, and had even gone on 3 rounds with him. I would not say I was maliciously jealous of her. No, I wasn't. In fact, I was happy for her, but I could not help thinking I had a mate who was that affectionate and crazy about me, as Gage was about Paula. But that time had come and gone. The agreement was if I failed to keep the marriage, I would return to be the alpha without a mate for eternity. It was a lofty price, but I had agreed, and now it was time to pay it. I shook my head away from that thought. It was time to stop dwelling on the past and focus on the present and the future. I had my friends and the moon goddess willing. The 10% chance would increase to 50, and keep increasing until I had my dad back on his feet again. Then Jace would return and all will be well. I swallowed, blinked back tears. I should not be ruining this moment. My friends were here with me. Well, I better take me leave since you both have joined hands to tease me. Cat Mock glared at both of us and walked away. She would never change, Noir commented, observing her. That's Cat for you. I beamed. You're still as beautiful as always, Riri. He touched my cheek. I smiled brightly. And you're still the same wild Noir. Well, I can't help but be. He extended his arm and I took it. He led me out of the ballroom, down the hallway. We used to run here as children. Soon we were outside. It was getting dark. So, Noir, tell me how you've been. He paused. Before I tell you, there's something I'd like to get out of the way first. I noticed his men were standing guard at the front of the mansion. My gaze swept back to him, the happy smile still on my lips. What? I still have that crush on you. Erika's POV. He said he still has that childhood crush on me. I told the girls. The event was finally over and the guests had gone home. Thankfully, nothing had happened. Everything had gone smoothly, and I was officially the alpha now. I would start my duties from tomorrow. The time I had spent with Noir was amazing, aside the astonishing news he just casually dropped, and pretended like he had said nothing after kissing my forehead. The event stroll had just been about us, and a reminiscence of old times. We had talked about everything and anything we could think of. Noir was an interesting person to be with, and we had ended the day promising to keep more in touch. Especially now that I was the alpha. He had even made a joke about me being his alpha partner and wife if we get married and merged packs. Of course, I had told him that was a lofty dream that had little chance of coming to pass. But I'd said it in a joking manner, and when he had laughed, I knew he had not taken me serious. But I knew I was serious. I could not go against what Father wanted for me. For real? Kat was lying on her own bed. Even though the 3 of us were healed now and could comfortably sleep together on one bed. I think we both loved the space, which did not take us away from each other. Moreover, the beds were too heavy to be lifted, and I absolutely had no idea where Jace had brought them in from. No one cared about the beds. We just knew where to lay our head when it was time. Yes, I nodded. This Noir guy is the one you guys were best friends with and used to play with as pups? Paula asked. She had this contented look of a happy, satisfied mate. Lucky Wolfus. Yes, he is. You should have seen him. Kat said. Why? Anything special about him? She was also lying lazily on her own bed. Nothing. Just for you to see who Noir is, so when we talk about him, you can place a face to the personality. I shrugged. Exactly, Kat agreed. There'll always be a next time. She was not really concerned. Kat and I exchanged looks. We knew the reason for this sheepish smiles, unbothered, carefree attitude, and her relaxed posture. It was time to tease her, but after we were done talking about me. Hey, Paula, how did it go? Kat winked suggestively. Or not. Kat had decided they'd had enough of me. I guess Paula's story was more interesting. I adjusted myself for some good gist. Yes, Paula, how did it go? I wriggled my brows in the sane, suggestive manner. She eye-rolled, chuckling. You girls are crazy. Crazy to hear your afternoon moment with your wonderful mate. Kat laughed teasingly. Nothing much happened, she said casually. I stretched a hand to get my hairbrush from my vanity stand and threw at her before she could dodge it. It hit her leg. Bullseye. Ouch. That hurt, she whined. Will you tell us, or should I throw this? Kat was holding a shoe. She quickly raised herself from the bed. You would not dare. You know me, P. I can dare. Kat raised an eyebrow at her. Okay, fine. We mated. We had sex. Paula finally confessed. Good news. Kat hollered in delight. Yes. I pumped at fist in the air. Tell us more. Kat urged. We were kissing as you guys left. Then I pulled away from the kiss and told him we needed to talk. I was still hurt by what he did, so I told him. He apologized again and again. We have never had sex before. She smiled. It was supposed to be the normal makeout session we usually have, but today's was different. Like the passion was just too much to control, we ended up having sex. It was a wonderful feeling, you know? Was that how you felt with Alex the first time? She directed to me. Well, we're not talking about me. This is about you. I did not want to remember, especially now that he was back into my life. Though not necessarily into my life, but to ask for help. Answer the question. Kat aimed the shoe my way, a silent threat that she would throw it at me if I did not respond. I sighed. Yes, for me though, I never could tell for him exactly how it felt. Paula affirmed. You girls are lucky. Kat sighed. Oh, don't be like that. He'll soon be back. Paula comforted. There's nothing to be lucky about because it has all ended. I told her. She was referring to Alex and I. Who knows? Now that he's back into your life, something could happen. Kat shrugged. Nothing. Just don't think of it. I said. I was yet to tell them of the agreement I had with my dad. So you never finished your story with Noir. What was your reply when he told you that? This was from Paula. I was speechless, but then he pretended as though he had not told me anything. I commented. Maybe he had seen your reaction and decided to make light of the matter. Kat was mindlessly playing with the stud adorned on the black leather shoe. How do you mean? I inquired, my brows furrowed. You might have given a reflex reaction showing you're not interested in him that way anymore. Paula reasoned. Maybe. I had no idea what else to reply them. My phone rang. I checked the caller ID. An unknown number. I picked it, but did not say anything. The voice was static. I could not really hear anything. Whoever this person was, they were in a place without network. I ended the call immediately. Who was that? Kat asked. I don't know. An unknown number, and I was not hearing a thing. A short silence followed, only to be broken by Paula. What if it's Jace? Jace? Kat and I chorused. Yes, I don't know. I'm not sure. Just a guess. Kat's phone rang. I was instantly at alert. What if Paula was right, and it was Jace? Kat quickly raised herself from the bed. An unknown number. Pick it up, Kat. Quickly, Paula and I urged her. Her hands were trembling. The phone almost slipped out of her hold. We were all ball of nerves. Why would Jace call us with an unknown number? She gingerly pressed the phone to her ear. Hello. Her eyes widened. It's Jace. Jace's POV. All my body was on fire. My bones were weary, and I could barely make a sound. But I was still aware. I was still aware and making my plans. One thing I had promised myself was I was not going to die. My plan was set in motion, and I knew I would find a way out. I had spotted a nail, and I had intentionally let my chair fall during my torture, before I could be raised back up. I had picked the nail and held it tightly. Such a pity, Jace. A pity you would have to die. The voice on the phone taunted still. I was not going to believe whatever this voice was saying. No, I would not. I was a Blackwood, and that was it. They were just trying to make me feel bad, to make me doubt my posterity, but I would not. I decided not to pay mind, and began to use the nail to tug the rope free, due to the countless times of being rough-handled. The rope was a bit loose around my wrists. I just needed to loosen some of the knots, and I would be free. Another blow landed on my face. They had stopped with the whip for now, and had used their hands on my face. Leave him be for now. We'll continue later. We have all the time in the world to kill him. No one knows where he is. I already knew who had monitored my movement out of the house. I had seen her walk standing beside my door as I was coming out. She had appeared to be passing by, and then I was still too angry to have noticed she had seemed flustered. Looking as though she had been caught doing what she was not supposed to do, she had even stuttered a bit greeting me. But I had brushed past her with anger still brewing within. She was the only one who could do this, and I knew how much Erika seemed to like her. Erika needed to know. She needed to know about this girl before things got worse. The call ended, but the phone remained on the table. The guy did not bother to take it. He came to me and slapped him across the cheek. You stupid rich people who think nothing of others and everything of yourself. He spat at me. He was way older than me. That's how they lift their arrogant noses in the air. See the kind of jeep he's driving, the lucky bastard. Another eyed me in envy and hate. Still, I said nothing. As though he had forgotten the phone, he left. I was alone. I quickly went to work and put the nail to a very good use. It was almost as though I would never be free when suddenly I felt my wrists breath in relief. They were free. I quickly took the phone, changed the ringtone to silent just in case, and put it in my pocket. I sat there for 2 more minutes just to be sure before standing up and tiptoeing to the entrance. My whole body cried in protest over the brutality I had been made to go through. I was tempted to groan in pain, but I held it. I needed to endure the pain silence if I would successfully leave here alive. I crept to the doorway. This place looked like an old storehouse made of metal that had rust, and was placed in the middle of nowhere. It was as if the moon goddess was with me on this escape mission, because none of them were in sight. I noticed it and against what my body wanted. I ran into the bush. I would not risk taking a clear path. I just had to be careful of wild animals and dangerous plants. I continued that path. There was no house nor car in sight. But I continued still. Judging by the brightness of the sun, it was late afternoon and would soon be dark. I should be home by then, or had gotten close to. I brought out the phone. It had no passcode, thankfully. I opened it and dialed Erika's number. I had her number offhand. It did not ring. That was when I noticed there was no network here. I put the phone back in my pocket and kept walking. I did not know how long I walked for, but by the time I brought the phone out to call again, the sun had gone home, and it was late in the evening, and soon to be dark. That was when I noticed the guy's location was turned on, muttering profanities under my breath. I turned it off. I could not risk being found again. I dialed Erika's number again. It rang. Relief filled me when she picked. "Hello, Erika." She was quiet. She did not say anything. "Hello, Erika," I repeated. Why was she not saying anything? Or was she not hearing me? But I could hear her breathing. That meant she had heard my voice, but was not saying anything. Or was she still angry? But she should have heard from my voice my situation right now. I tried again. "Hello, Erie." I removed the call from my ear when I heard the beep that had signaled the end of the call. Anger and hurt squeezed tight. She did not care. She had heard my voice and decided she was not going to help me. Fine. Let it be that way then. I tried the second person's number I had offhand and prayed she pick. Else I would have to find my way home myself, which at this point I could not tell was its location. I dialed Kat's number. I was grateful when it rang, but also tensive that she might not pick. She might also be angry and do not want it talk to me. Was she not going to pick? I was almost at the brink of frustration when I heard her voice. "Hello." It was low and held nerves. "Hello, Kat." "It's Jace." "It's Jace," I heard her say, but I was not sure she was talking to me. "Please give me the phone." Someone collected it from her. "Jace." It was shaky and heavy with tears. "Erika, my sister." "Hello, Alpha."